Alright, hello, and welcome to the first little bit of World of Tanks that I'm going to show you guys. This is basically, well, they claim it as like a strategy MMO with tanks or something like that, but basically it's a very difficult to classify game. So after you log in, you arrive at this screen right here. Now this right here, the M-Sidin, is the first Soviet tank that you get. You get this thing for free, and for the first little while, if this is your only tank, then ammo for it and repairs for it are actually free. So this is a little crappy tank, and you're basically stuck in it up until you can buy a better tank that would still fit in the brackets. The multiplayer, you can see up here, there's 6,400 something people online and 150 something battles going on at this very moment. But basically, battles are broken up by class. For example, this is a tier 1 tank, right? Here, let me just open this up for you. There we are. So you see, tanks are in tiers. This is the first tier. You actually get one of these for free as well, the Lextractor. You start out with one. I sold mine off because I don't want anything to do with German tanks at all. I've no intention of touching them, period, during my playthrough, during my game time. So, here we are. This is the Soviet tech tree, and you see each tank has a number next to it. That is the tier that it is at. Now, what the game does when it's matchmaking is it groups the first two tiers together. Those are usually the most populated, so your games will only have vehicles from the first two tiers. The M-Sidin, T-26, Su-18, BT-2, AT-1. And then from the German side, you'll get a Lechtrachter, Panzerkampfwagen, another Panzer, was 35 the 2, the Sturmpanzer, and the Panzerjäger. Panzerjäger. I don't know how they pronounce that, actually. I'm very bad at German, so if I offended any of you in my pronunciation, I'm sorry. But basically, yeah. So that right there is the tiers. Now, as you can see, each tank has its own tech tree, and when you finish a battle, you will get money, credits, in this case, and you will get experience. Now, sorry. Basically, up here, this first level shows you the tank and the default technologies that come with it. Alright, it comes with a 37mm cannon, the default turret, and all that. So that's your default technology. And then you can research technologies with experience that you earn. There's two kinds of experience. There's the Silver Star experience, which is tank exclusive. If you earn that experience, if you have silver experience, you can only spend in that tank. You see, I have 9 silver experience there. Well, if I go to my BT-2, I have 12 left over. And if I open up my 20, I have 17. If I open up my 7, I have none at all. So that's that. Now this up here, this bronze experience is a free experience. It's experience that you can spend on any tank, period, even if you don't have it. Like you see, I can buy this engine for this tank, even though I don't own the tank, simply because I have enough free experience. Now, free experience you get at a much slower rate than tank-specific experience, and you can use gold right here, which they give you for actual real-world money, to convert your tank experience into free experience. And what that does is it allows you to have a tank that's like your workhorse, where basically you play on that tank because you get good amounts of XP, and then you use up your gold to transfer that into free XP and tech up into another tank. Now, basically, yeah, this is Soviet tree. So first two tiers are together. If it's like at a time where there's not a lot of people, like I was playing in the middle of last night, like 3 a.m. my time. Obviously, nobody was playing. It was a weekday in Russia. Everyone was at work. But it's still mostly Russians because this is the Russian version of the game. The American English version, I should say, is currently in beta. So Anyways, in that case, it actually went ahead and dropped in some of these into the bracket, some of this tier 3 here. But that usually doesn't happen. If the matchmaking system has enough people, it will break you into tier 1 and 2, and then like tier 3 and 4, and then tier like 5 and 6, and then like tier 6. Well, no, what it actually does is it breaks you into 1 and 2, then it does 3 and 5 as a group, and then it does 6 to 10 as a group. Simply because, as you can see, these right here are medium tanks, and medium tanks only go up to 8, and it's heavy tanks. They're the only ones that go up to 10 right now. So basically, that's a group on its own. I haven't actually gotten far enough to discover that yet, but I'm just extrapolating that from what I know. As you can see, I've only gotten to tier 4, and I only got this game yesterday, so... but basically what I'm doing here is I'm just making a mad sprint for the T-34. That's the tank that I want to get. Now, if I just open up any one of these, you can see every single tank has its own tech tree. So that's where your experience comes in, and that's where like the RPG kind of elements in this game are. That's really where they come in. Like, the other interesting thing is that things spread out through the tanks. Like, for example, on this MC1, right, I unlocked this 37 these two engines, right, the AMO3, and if I open this engine, if I open this thing, you can see none of those engines are unlocked in it. That's because it's an exclusive kind of weapon. But if you look, I unlocked the 37mm, the 20mm, and the 23, right? And if you open this tank, right there, they all are. So yeah, those are cumulative. And also, you notice how the radio here is a tier 9 radio. That's because this is a light tank. It's meant to have a powerful radio. But basically, you see there's a tier 9 there. Now, if I go back a tier to the BT7, that also has the tier 9. So if I had unlocked that while I was driving the BT7, it would have been unlocked for the A20 as well. So yeah, it's kind of cool how unlocks go into each other. And as you can see, there's tanks that you unlock. They cost a lot of experience. Like, this would be like 400. This would be like 500, and the tank was like 3,000. So, just to give you a feeling for it. Here you can actually see the differences. Like, look at this. It'll cost me like 1,600 experience to get to the tank unlock, but the actual tank unlock will cost me 13,000 experience. And then I'll get the T-34, and it'll allow me to branch off to wherever I want to go. It'll let me branch off into the Su-85, or like, and go down the anti-tank path, or it'll let me continue down the medium tank path. And yeah, that's basically no matter which tech tree you're in. For the first couple of tiers, you're stuck with a light tank. Germany gets a medium tank at tier 4, and so does Russia if you sprint down this tree right here. And after that one tier of medium tank, you go straight into the heavy tanks. Like this little dude right here. Or like, yeah, and it just keeps going with the Keva and the Is and all those fun-filled tanks. Yeah, so that's that. And basically, you can see that the trees are unique. Like, for example, the Germans have an option to go from light tank into artillery, right? And then here, as the Soviets, you can't do that. You have to go all the way down to tier 5 for that. So, or like, for example, here, this one tank branches into the artillery. You can branch from this tank into artillery, the light to medium branch, or just an exclusively light branch that will get you to the Leopard tank, Leopard tank. And then yeah, and then you can see if you go down here, you can branch into an exclusively medium tank branch, or you can keep going down the medium tanks up until tier 7. You get a heavy tank. the Panzer Tiger. And then see here, you with the Soviet branch, you get your first heavy tank at Tier 5 a lot earlier. So yeah, and each tank is obviously unique in its own way. They all have their own armament. Like for example, this is the Mouse tank. There's no upgrades for it. This is just the ultimate tank. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing I want to show you. So you see how I have a little golden tank icon there? That means that I've done all the upgrades possible for that tank. And what that lets me do is, if I go back over here, see it lets me check this little box here, which means that I would be putting all the experience that I earn in this tank into pumping